Yeehaw! Try to grasp for his last friend and pretend that he could fuck is on what? God's correct pronouns? What the fuck does that mean? Hello. What's everyone doing? Okay, that's not what I wanted to click. Yeah, I'm not doing too many requests. Where are you having this debate? Okay, so we have the act. I need to turn this into honestly, and I like it is indexable, right? I hate reading these fucking PDFs. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Where's my home button? Oh. Yes. Let's go. New redeems. What is this one? I don't know. What is the redeem? Can I redeem my own chat? Clip that this minute. What? Okay, so put you up a little higher. You up a little higher, right? What am I objecting to? It's supposed to be like you want me to object. I have no idea what I'm doing with those, man. If I'm being honest. Like just straight up zero clue what the fuck I'm doing. I just thought I needed some interactive moment. A sound clip. I'll try and add something. All right, I'm gonna put this into Obsidian instead because I hate the fact that they use serif font. I can't do it. It's so fucking annoying. Hopefully it works. Ugh. HR 14. Huh. Did I just kill my computer? I feel like I just killed my computer. Are you good? It's having a hard time right now. Oh, okay. Oh, it put it in like a non-word wrapped. Sick, dude. Thank you so much. Super cool, dude. Fuck me, dude. Oh, I hit the wrong button again. Anyways. Kay, are you still in here? Where are you, Kay? Join the Fry debate? Where the fuck is that? Fry debate? Doomer. Why is it rated? Bro, does Gorps not want to be on my team? Gorps. Why? The hell, man? It makes me sad. Come on, Gorps. Where is he? I'm gonna have to message him directly. Yeah, for the debate tomorrow. I feel like Gorps would be is a good choice. I think he's strong for this one. Identity politics is the primary reason for America's something like decline or something like that. I'm on the affirmative. I could do either or on this one. It's focusing on identity issues ruined American politics. I think it depends on how you read this prompt. Yeah. It depends on how you read this prompt. So like a conservative could agree to this and they could also disagree to this. I think someone who's arguing the moral the moral argument, which I think Ancom will do, is probably gonna have a little bit more tough time. Yeah, I could argue either side. The moral argument's strong, so it's gonna be difficult. But I think it's like a prompt that is flexible enough to where if you present like an argument well, you definitely could win still. So that's why I was like, yeah, this is fine. That I don't know. That one I do not know. Where is the Fry debate? Okay, whatever. I'll just go in the lounge. Okay. Fucking mouth, killing me. In general, chat. Do I want to go look? Is that a thing? I don't know. Is this fucking done yet, bro? I swear to God, this is so long. Like, dude. I'm thorough, but like, Jesus Christ, dude. Actually, Xrox. The thing about this prompt, though, okay, and this is why I think it's flexible, is you don't actually have to take the position of someone who is complaining about identity politics to argue that identity politics has essentially been a primary reason why America is starting to deteriorate. Do you understand what I mean? So I like this prompt because you can actually argue for the position that you don't agree in and still actually argue about it being it still is factually like a primary reason why America's been a little bit ruined. That's the neat thing about this prompt. Yeah, you know what, Maida? I think you're just beneath me, man. I don't know. See, the thing is, it's kind of factually true, right? It's kind of falls in line with my fascism stuff, where I say that, like, even though you know most people in here know that I think it's fake, you know, when I have to like sit here and talk about trans people for the 16th millionth time and explain the most fucking mind-numbingly basic things, that doesn't really change the fact that like how they feel is real, even though I have no idea how. Like a trans person, you know, beating your shitty fucking kid in baseball or track is not really important to me. Or I don't know how it could be existential, but they do make it existential, so there's an argument there. Nonetheless. I'm such an asshole in that argument, man. Finish AL on 7 a.m., then stop and evaluate the deliverable. Thank fucking God. Holy crap, bro. Oh, I like this song. This song's amazing. Except it's fucking down tune. Half a step down tune, so I can't play to it. Bullshit. Boom, 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 boom. Support, assessment, execution review. Verified state. Okay. What is the... Correct. Kind of hard. Just not valid. I know you're talking about the fascist thing right now, Xbox, but just out of context. That's just not valid. Stop it. Okay. I need to pull up. This is kind of bugging me the way it looks, but it's fine. I think this is good. This is one of the best codecs. Like, I think source. It's not a summary thing, right? It's essentially trying to like lock. Because I asked it in the very beginning. If you guys are interested. Said I want to initiate a new research project for Orthodox Christianity. I already know Orthodox Christianity pretty well, right? But I essentially was like, I want to understand it more seriously from an internal perspective, institutional, theological, philosophical, and comparative religious one, to Catholicism specifically, which I already know. Don't like it? Just keep it like there. I look like an alternative girl. I don't actually, not yet. So this is all about, I'm trying to just understand Orthodox Christianity much deeper. And then I went and got a very large source list for this, okay? So what we kind of built afterwards is the title, what it's not going to be. Nice. And then a bunch of questions, and then I went and got, after more back and forth, trying to make it a little bit better than what it is. How fucking long did it take? Here we go. So Andrew Luth, and then John Anthony McGuckin. I already know Callisto Swear, but he's probably one of the most notable Orthodox Christians I know. Mary B. Cunningham, Eugene, Geffert, and then Stavro, Opko, and this is St. John Chrysostom, or how the fuck you say his name. And I went further, got secondary stuff, and then I got some atheist or secular critique. Which I believe would be, yeah. So all this stuff, categorize them by rank, ID, intake priority, and then I made a very complex source. To me, when I'm reading it, it looks really good because it's like hyper self-correcting, but we'll see what it puts out. Could be fun. I need to put this in there in codecs. Fuck, it's so long, dude. Okay, back to this one, and then entitled. There we go. I hate that it's white. Can we invert this? Is that possible? Motherfucker. Oh, you know what? I can take this and open it in Calibri. That'd be better. An act. The fuck out of my face. Dude. Calibri, why? You suck. This is bullshit. Fonts. What's happening right now? My fry setup? What does that mean, bro? Do you want me to go check? I asked for Vigi, Gorps, and myself. I actually wanted Steelborn, but he's in Dallas or whatever. He's a dick. Where is colors? Black. Yeah. Yeah. What is happening? Yeah. Here we go. Now I can fucking do that so much better. Oh my god. If Cajun seasoning is a topping, so is a salt. What the hell? Thank you. Hey, I'm trying really hard to like debate bro this conversation right now, and I can't. I just come in flying and be like, actually, seasonings, toppings, and sauces depend on when they go in the food during cooking. Actually. All right, so what's in this bill, guys? We have alien snap eligibility. What the hell does that mean? Thank you. Because I eat chicken all day. That's it. Yep. Damn GG. Please help. I think I need some seasoning or something other than chicken. That'd be great. Oh. Holy shit. The one that just passed. Very nice. What are you planning on doing? This seems unconstitutional, guys. What do you think? Yay, nay? Protein. Protein. Protein on protein right now is what I'm doing. For Twitch? I'm not looking for any designs right now, but I'll look at your stuff. So, food and SNAP eligibility is amended to read no individual who's a member of a household otherwise may participate if he or she is a resident of the United States. The ones that don't take away food from fucking American citizens. That'd be great. What is it called again? USFA, United States Force Administration, right? USFD or FA? Or is it Department? USFD? I built this on before I started stream. Actually, it's kind of quick. I'm kind of surprised about that. If anyone's interested, it's just like a little analyzer. So, what it's doing? Why did it not just pull it up? I hate you. You suck. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, I'm built it to put in sections and then try and translate the language a little bit more if necessary, because sometimes legislation is really annoying to fucking read. I didn't want to like disrupt the stream with it. For legislation specifically. Only legislation. So here, I'll pull up a thing for you. You might be interested in McGruffs. Now that I've kind of like learned how to use AI pretty well, I use it for a lot of things that about a year ago I refused to, because it's become really good if you use like codecs and everything. So here is the analyzer markdown file. So act as my live congressional legislation research assistant. Will normally upload the PDF or official text. Then for each live analysis request, I want you to identify the section, page number, blah, blah, whatever I give it. And then I wanted to try and, I have to give it input first and then like my interpretation. And then it's going to tell me, you know, if it's if we need to go deeper into it, if we can use it instantly on stream, or if we need to do a quick little connect thing, right? And I made the parameters for deep really difficult. But I wanted essentially to explain it in plain language. And also there's a lot of annoying things inside legislation, like we were just looking at here, right? Where the forestry one, it goes to different bills and laws and stuff in paragraphs, and it essentially is going to find that for me, right? So I read this for a second and I'm like, this feels to me as if they're rescinding the unobligated balances for the US FD or FA, right? But I don't know, because I'd have to go check every one of these for you guys. I'm not going to do that. The part about aliens, this part was alien SNAP eligibility. Is this a little too, what if I zoom in a bit? There we go. Zoomed in a bit. Nutrition, blah, blah. What the hell is it? Did I zoom in too much? There we go. You can see that a little bit more, right? Hopefully. Yeah, it's probably a little more visible. So we have alien SNAP eligibility. And this is essentially saying that even if you have American citizens, young kids in your home, you're not allowed to get SNAP on behalf of them. So if you have an illegal immigrant in your household, you're not allowed to get SNAP benefits, which I think is a disgrace and kind of unconstitutional for the American child. There's an argument that people want to make that this is essentially just illegal immigrants taking advantage of SNAP, but that doesn't really dismiss the fact that the child is an American citizen. Well, an American citizen is entitled to SNAP, right? If they need help. We essentially guarantee SNAP in social services to American citizens when they're in need of it. So again, I understand the argument of like people saying illegal immigrants shouldn't have them, but the problem here is that illegal immigrants can't get them unless they have a child. And if the child was born here and it's a birthright citizenship kid, I don't really care. The point is that we don't just get to like wipe away, you know, amendments in the Constitution because you just don't like that. We can change it. It's not like he's trying to, but the kid, the American citizen, is entitled to have assistance. And just because I don't like the way that their parents are using the system is not an argument against, you know, whether or not the kid is supposed to be able to have that privilege. At least in my opinion. In a way, I care more about the kid than I do about my frustration for someone who is, they're not actually abusing it, because a lot of them do actually need it. But my frustration for illegal immigrants taking these services is far lower than, you know, just getting rid of the fundamental rights that the child deserves. A what? Well, I'm assuming that would probably have to do with see. Snap. Constitutional. Let's see. Supreme Court decisions. I'm gonna have to go back way before Trump, unfortunately. Let's do 2020. Well, they're not mandated by the Constitution, but Supreme Court inference, right, is how we adapt the Constitution to the modern day. So, if we have social services, we have to determine how SNAP is played into, or at least in like how we connect it to what the Constitution says is okay, right? There's no like literal SNAP constitutional amendment. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but there's definitely cases that I should know right now, which I'm gonna go look up for us, that probably guarantee citizens to at least have access to, you know, if we legislatively say that these services are available. I would assume so. Let's see them. Give me a bunch of other stuff. Of milk in the Constitution. This sounds familiar. Hey, Lethe. Of milk in the Constitution. What a funny name. Ah, yes. Make everything fucking serif font. You know what I mean? That'll make me fucking happy. Of course. 175. Yeah, this is like an opinion piece I'm looking for. See if it gave an answer. This is the one I was thinking of. This is the main way McGriffis, I think that, or Griffiths, that I think you would argue against what this is doing. Because the child who's an American citizen doesn't get to choose whether or not they can eat food, right? So this line here from Goldberg and Kelly, right? Did I get to Goldberg and Kelly somewhere? I did not. That sucks. About constitutional protections being disappearing because we think that parents are doing something wrong, right? I feel like there's a big argument here. Like, the kid doesn't get to choose that. So, obligation to provide every non-citizen with federal welfare benefits available to citizens. The kids are citizens, though. I feel like everything has to do with the 14th Amendment now because of the way it's broadly written, right? I mean, the end of the 14th Amendment is more about like how the other 13 don't get to be used against you, right? It gave my grade a C+, Rufus. Not very good. But here, I'm just going to ask you a question. I'm confused. So my take on this is that this is trying to target what people believe as illegal immigrants who have children here, who are birthright citizenship babies, but nonetheless, they are citizens. And my issue with this is that I feel like it's targeting the rights of the citizen children. And, you know, whether or not you disagree with them being citizens is irrelevant. The amendment's pretty clear. That to me seems like an unconstitutional denial of the basic rights that we just described for them to have access to things like SNAP. Or am I incorrect in this? I guess we'll see. That sounds like a lot of people, though, right? Across the country? Oh, Goldberg and Kelly's really old, though, right? And I think, again, the main part of Goldberg and Kelly is welfare benefits are a matter of statutory entitlement for qualified persons to receive them. Obviously, illegal immigrants are not qualified persons in this regard, and that's fine. The issue here is that the children who are citizens, I don't think they need to lose access to food because, you know, in every sense of the legal words or legal phrasing so far, they're qualified, but they don't have the ability to make that decision, right? Where'd he go? Fucking annoying. Click to see attachment. Shoestring, crinkle, steak, curly, wedge, waffle. Fuck, man, I don't know. They're all kind of good. How do I answer this? Gorps is not available. God damn it. Who do I grab then? Zach, if you're feeling adventurous. Razor. Energy. I think energy might be good. I think energy is far stronger when he prepares for stuff. He's still a little the whole time. Just fucking breaking internal. I just forgot I have all these necklaces on. Okay, let's see what it said. The conclusion that Section 10108 facially violates the citizen child's constitutional rights is probably incorrect under current Supreme Court doctrine. I mean, I'm confused. $7 AL. Okay. Fuck. There we go. Snapchat? What the fuck is he looking at Snapchat, bro? What the hell was that? Energy, are you in here? Dude, I'm gonna have to go with Zach, I think, bro. All right. Well, I could take the Indian Jesus, I think. Can you give him the exact one? Okay, we'll see what his decision is. All right, anyways, something else in this, okay, that I already kind of went over. I don't know. Holy fuck, this is long. Oh my. Brother. How do I go to the top? Ah. SPR. Dude, really? There we go. So there's a section on strategic petroleum, which this doesn't look good to me. So far, it seems like Trump is allowing or about to stupid. He's going to essentially allow more of the strategic petroleum reserve to be drawed or taken more from. So I have to make sure though. So we have some appropriation. To purchase some products as well as maintenance of it, but this is not enough money to make a difference. This is barely any money. 218 million is not enough. And then we have a repeal of the reserve drawdown and sale mandate, which that's concerning. Okay. That is concerning to me. So I really wanted to look at this one. We'll go down to energy dominance financing. Funding. the transformation model is kind of interesting. What? What? What is water? What does water mean? Water. I have no idea what this means. We're just gonna do the... Did he? What am I playing right now? Oh, this is Downcast. Do my own set still. Yeah. This is my song. Everything's so expensive? You are correct. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I'm updating my model right now for it, actually. Yes. Yes, we are. Yeah. The most, like, I think, important part to know about what you just said, Xbox, is if you remember my problem with, like, Trump and Canada in the economy, right? When Trump does continue to fuck up the way our economy works, he's going to reduce the options he has left. So, here, like, let's just do a dichotomy really fast. There's technically more options than what I'm about to say. I know that. But let's try and just think about Trump's decision more so than the options, okay? So Trump's economic policies are probably going to hurt the economy considerably. Maybe drastically. And when Trump is in a position like that, what do we think Trump's going to do? Option A, create good fiscal policy that's going to take decades for the economy to come back, because that's how long it takes. It's not really a simple task. Option 2, remember you have the military, the strongest on the planet, in that factories that supply pretty much 70% of the import into the United States are like a stone's throw into Mexico and a stone's throw into Canada. Both have no military to stop you and could be taken within a day. Mexico, no one would fucking care about at all. Canada, maybe a little bit differently. But that sounds crazy, guys, but just, I want you to think about it for a second. If you are thinking of the way Trump would make a decision there, does it seem that unlikely, man? Well, NATO has there's no way NATO would be able to get to Canada that fast. Canada is trying to make sure that's why they're extending and doing all these new deals, and Canada understands this. Canada has 70,000 troops in reserve. 70,000. It would take the US like a day to just take over Canada. There would be no fight. And now the question, right, Groofus, is does Europe risk nuclear war, kill everyone, when it was over in a day? I don't know, man. I don't think so. It's not like people are going to be like, I mean, Canada's just a part of the US now, I guess. It's like, that could easily happen. Whatever it's going to be, right, Kay? my like what I like to do is think about what the best option is for the person in that moment. So the worse the economy gets, the more aggressive Trump is going to be with the military. And for me, I think he's going to fucking ruin the economy. And a lot of the older historical regimes that we know that seemed like they did well, they just used slave labor as soon as they actually took over other countries. We essentially have done that with Venezuela. Rubio controls every dollar right now that goes through Venezuela. And it's completely not public. We have no idea how much they're siphoning from them. It's just... I just don't really feel like Trump is going to be like, you know, I think we really need to sit down and think about good economic policy now. What's easier? Oh yeah, no one gives a fuck about Mexico. 30% of our imports are like a mile into that country. Well, Slayer. If we did, hypothetically, enter Mexico and take back our economic power, you know, the factories and things like that, we're not going to give them citizenship. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? We already want to, like, murder the people in our country who are just here illegally and actually have jobs, but yeah, so the dilemma here, right, Slayer? It sounds crazy until you start to... You realize what I'm actually saying. I'm not saying Mexico is going to be invaded tomorrow. I'm saying if the economy is ruined to a point where Trump is forced to make a decision between... And again, I know that's false dichotomy, but just bear with me. It's more about the decision-making, not the options. I want you to think about what Trump is going to do and use historical context for that and what he says every day. You have two choices, right? You need to sit down and make good economic policy, try and win back and build back 30 or 70% of your country's, you know, imports and production again. That's going to be hard. Or you remember that you have the strongest military on planet Earth, and Mexico quite literally could not remotely stop you within a day. And you've already kind of prepared everyone to think that Mexico is kind of an enemy. They inject drugs into our country. All we get is criminals from them. We spend a lot of money on their country. I see the former option, right? Good economic policy not being a real one, man. He does not care about them. He does not care about me. He doesn't care about anyone. I just don't really see him going, yeah, we need to just do the economic one. I see him going, we're strong. We're going to take back our factories that are ours anyway. I mean, we built them. We gave them... That's exactly what's going to fucking happen. The killing will come later, Xrox. But you're right. It'll probably take a bit. It's the pathway is there though, Xrox, and I think that's what you're pointing out. That's what I point out all the time. That's what scares me. Is it's really difficult for me to be like, yeah, we'll just murder everyone in Mexico, but you have to think about what will happen to Mexico. Like, we're not going to give them statehood. We're not going to make them citizens. So if this does happen, it's like the eventual course of action when we either try to, you know, like get rid of them, you know, put them into labor camps or something. The eventual pathway is literally to what you just said. That's the end goal there. I don't know if you know about this, McGriffiths, but the White House actually does post their economic policy. If you go to news and then you go to research down here, I've gone through a lot of these. Maybe you might enjoy doing it. It's fucking trash. One of these, man, is you know how 401ks in people's retirement defined contribution plans, like it says here, they have specific requirements, right? And there's a good reason for that. Primarily because defined contribution plans and retirement accounts need to be safe. We can't like let companies just take retirement money and then just fucking like do options trading with it, right? Warren is very intelligent, man. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. She's not like, she is on the banking committee, but she's not, if I recall correctly, someone who I think would advocate for like controlling the entire thing. She's a constitutional lawyer. She honestly is famous because she wrote a textbook or she writes textbooks, and they're still widely used in every law class, at least for constitutional law, as far as I can remember. She's honestly brilliant, but she seems annoying in every hearing you probably watch, especially the finance committee one, because, I mean, to be fair though, the people she's talking to are annoying. She doesn't do econ though, right? She does finance. She's on the finance committee. She is not correct all the time, or can't like identify some econ stuff, but she like talks to Wells Fargo execs in hearings, right? And the clips that you see of her just going like, "The fuck are you doing?" Like every time. I don't even, has she co-sponsored any Senator Warren bills recently? One she has written. Let's see. Oh, she was president. I can't remember her platform. Let's see here. Let's do a new chat. Fuck it. Acting class. But yeah, so Trump's Economic Council of Advisors, right? They put out this research, Griffiths, that few things. It purposely uses language in which it's trying to obfuscate the fact that it's really just saying we should allow companies to just randomly and within any capacity use retirement savings from hardworking Americans in whatever fucking thing they want. It's supposed to be, but it is technically the president's economic advisory team. So it's often not, but depends on the president. Second, this is written with AI poorly because it's not good, bro. Okay? And you know how they make their argument? They just put it into AI and thought it would be cool. They quote Weitzman here. And I went through and checked every one of these. Okay? Some of these are fake. It's the same thing with the RFK, MAGA or Maha thing, right? It literally just imagined people's names in papers that don't exist sometimes. It's just insane, okay? And the argument here is really bad. So, it essentially is like private markets have created more money. Therefore, people should be allowed to have their retirement savings handled by companies invested into private companies. And then they just kind of go, private companies have much higher growth potential relative to public companies. It is circular, yeah. It's like, well, this could be the case that also there's confidence in the markets with the fact that a lot of money is somewhat safe and not risky, which, if you take that away, could severely impact the market overall. So maybe part of the reason that the stability in private markets is due to the fact that private companies do not get to take retirement savings and lose them. Just a thought. Let's just try to understand that part of your evidence here includes the fact that this is, not something you can do. Weird way to argue for the change then, right? Second, the way they talk about investors, McGriffiths, take note of this language. From a U.S. investor standpoint, there are several important distinctions between private and public investments. So public markets are characterized by liquidity, frequent real-time valuations, and transparency due to disclosure requirements, heavy regulatory oversight. Shorter investment horizons, that doesn't make sense to me. A public market, in this they call, where the fuck do they define that? Where did the fuck do they define that again? I didn't even think about that question. That's a good question. Is it just like a demarcated certain type of market they don't like? What the fuck? Where do they actually make this thing? Okay. I don't even understand. Private market investments refer to investment opportunities in non-publicly traded companies. So it's worse than I thought. We're going to take retirement savings and allow the money to be invested in what? Like venture capitalist private companies, shitty tech companies that don't even have a business plan yet. Essentially like Wolf on Wall Street penny stock shit. Is that what I'm reading right now? I didn't even think of that question. Alternative investments are non-traditional assets that do not fall within the conventional asset class of stocks, bonds, or cash, and typically include private equity, hedge funds, and venture capital. So we're going to let companies take retirement money, savings, and their 401ks and their Roth IRAs, and give that to venture capitalist firms so they can invest it into like shitty tech and AI companies. Sounds brilliant. That sounds worse than what I originally thought. I'm ready to take out my money. Sorry. We spent all of it in public shitters. The AI company, the recent one that tried to. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but it is just a stupid. It was a stupid business. I'm sorry, man. Your money's gone. Fucking Anyways, they're on their website if you want. Here, I'll just post for you. There's a lot of stuff to go in here. It's pretty mind-numbing. It's pretty much just fraud, yeah. Anyways, the Snap thing. So I think I'm kind of wrong, by the way, Griffiths. I think there's still an argument for me though, right? Is it a fair system though right now? There's no, you can't do injunctions anymore, and illegal immigrants are not going to do a class action. So this is where AI, I think, is trying to be by the book. And it's hard, I think, for AI to understand the existential feeling of like Trump's presidency, because Trump is consistently breaking what normally we would be doing policy wise, right? So when it says a fair hearing system for a denial of SNAP that is supposed to be investigated by who, I'm just going like, okay. You can't do injunctions anymore nationwide. And a class action lawsuit for undocumented immigrants? Huh? Are you out of your mind? Okay. Let's move to this one, though. I want to know what this SPR thing is. What's the NEC? That could be the case, but you'd still have to recruit them, right? And the problem is like, I'm not really sure if there's wrongdoing, okay? Misapplication, procedural due process, right? Those things are kind of at risk right now. So I'm not really sure how it would even work. First of all, if they know they're undocumented, right? Griffiths, like right now, I don't see an undocumented immigrant actually taking the risk to pursue this or even join the class action lawsuit, because you might just end up on a plane because you are in the class action, right? Even though there's supposed to be protections against that, right? You can't trust the government right now with the way ICE is operating. So it's going to be much more difficult to get people on board. That's just a fact. Well, you can't put them on a plane if Molotov, they have a case against the U.S., right? That would be wildly unethical, against the Constitution. They need to have a stay until their case is done, right? We believe in the rule of law. We believe in due process. What case? Well, if an illegal immigrant is in this country and they are denied SNAP for their American citizen child, okay, and they join a class action because it was technically improper to deny them SNAP because of that only fact, but Trump and his administration have said they're going to do that. That will make the illegal immigrant now a target. They could grab him now and then deport him, and now it's pretty hard to do a class action lawsuit from outside of the U.S., I think. But that's technically illegal. I mean, when someone is in a class action lawsuit, they have a stay. But you can't really trust the way ICE is operating right now. They have routinely and consistently just ignored court orders for deportations, and what this does do also is it has an effect on the people who are willing to actually put themselves out there or join a class action. And I don't blame them. That's a real risk. Holy fuck, so dry. Oh. Molotov, you know my position on immigration, right? It's like we need to have immigration policies. That's a fact. I'm not interested in deporting people who are already here, who have lives, who there's no reason we can't just give them pathways to citizenship. Much of this country actually needs labor. That's not really the big problem. I don't see a real reason to do what you just said unless the goal is cruelty. There's no economic benefit. There's no political benefit I see. There is one of like personal, fairness maybe, but the moral claim there, I think, is disrupted or ultimately just dismantled by the idea that now we're going to weigh this against the fact that maybe this person's been here 10 years. Maybe they have a company. Maybe they employ 10 American citizens. Maybe all of those things are true, and now we've just deported someone who is a considerable American, who's contributing to American citizens. And where is the moral clarity there then? Because surely it's got to be more than just they're illegal, man. It's got to be more than that. They use an ITIN. Illegal immigrants pay taxes. They have to, because they have to have a bank account. They have to, buy cars and stuff like that. They have to have a certain amount of income each month. So the IRS can see all that. The banks give it to them. They don't get away with not paying taxes. Well, that's not what's happening though, right? This person who's been here 10 years, did they qualify for anything you just said, ma'am? I already told you that, we can simultaneously secure the border more, which Trump has done, and give a pathway to citizenship for the guy who's been here 10 years. Oh, shit. Hey, Mickey. 17. I need to raid back out to you at some point. I'm so sorry. All right. Hello, everyone. We're watching Trump shit right now. Border checks. Biden was fine with them. You have to remember that the problem with the border was not illegal immigration, right? It was, she did. I mean, she might. I can't really. I'm more like a bedroom musician, right? I can't really play other people's music that well. Or if you are like, hey, put like a D add 9, I'll be like, what? But I can musically play along. Where is it? There. Oh shit. Fuck. Something like that. White girl music. Don't come back, Yobo. Or like Taylor Swift. I wouldn't. Taylor Swift would never do that. Fuck. She'd probably do just like E major shit. I just play randomly. Once you get to the point where you don't even play scales anymore, you're just kind of like, what? Just play random shit. This is long. I thought this was gonna be short. I can't play Mozart. He's pretty hard to play. What is happening here? Why do we have the... What is this guy playing in the back? Dude, literally going hard as fuck and people are just sitting in their chairs. What is happening? Dude, fucking play something quieter, man. And softer. No? He's out here like... Everyone's like, where's my chair, dude? I can't hear. What the fuck? These dudes are so funny. Does the choir team just got up here or what, man? Wait. He doesn't come out for another 10 minutes, bro? That was fun. What did he... Is this... Host the LA Dodgers. What? Why is he host... Is this for the World Series?
The new Rose Garden, how beautiful it is, with the white stone that matches the White House. This used to be grass, and it was always wet. You know, the White House is built on a wetland, and when you're built on a wetland, the grass is wet all the time. If it didn't rain for 5 days, it was very wet. And we had a lot of very upset women. They'd stand in there with the high heels, and they'd just go down like quicksand. And that took place for about 150.
What the fuck is happening? This used to be grass. You guys know that John Travolta meme? Dude, where is it? This is 100% what's happening right now. Where'd he go? There it is. Heck yeah, brother. Let me get it real fast. New window. Oh, that's the wrong one. You suck. Yeah.
Years, and I decided to do something about it, and this has become an incredible place for dining and for news conferences and for events like this. And this is a very special event because it's the Dodgers and they're the world champions. And
I have to. A big
Mark,
55 inch above me.
This is the first time we've ever used the new Rose Garden. You see right up there, the Rose Garden. I put that up. Looks
Good job, Dodgers. Now look at my fucking stupid building.
very nice. This is not. Do you think Biden would do that? I don't think so. I don't think Biden would do it. And we created the Presidential Walk of Fame. That wall for 150 years had absolutely nothing on it. And it always used to amaze me. I said, what are we going to put on that wall? Now, I could put some of the great Dodgers on the wall, but I figured maybe it's more appropriate that we put the presidents. So it's been quite something. And we did from Washington to Trump, and people love it. And they they study the plaques. And generally speaking, I was very nice to the people up
No.
there.
Trump is uniquely, at least as far as I know with history, it's not like I really can tell you whether or not, a president in 1828 was like vulgar or not. But as far as contemporary history goes, Trump is unique in this regard.
A couple of them probably not as nice as I could have.
He's like, again, he's the most transparent abuser and manipulator on the planet, to me. He just operates in such a clear, fucking abusive way, and it's just pathetic to me, but I guess other people like it. I don't know.
But I just want to say that we're delighted to host the 2025 World Series champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Amazing. And for the first time in the proud history of this famous franchise, you are repeat champions. I didn't know that. That's the first time, huh? Well, great.
Pretty hard to repeat in baseball, man. The fuck?
Ownership, great management. And so I'm thrilled to say welcome back to the White House. And maybe I'll see you again next year, I hope. But it's truly a great, when you talk about a brand, it's one of the great brands anywhere in the world, no matter where you go. The Dodgers is one of the great brands, and certainly it's been enhanced as long as these two gentlemen were up here and were with us. I want to thank Dodgers owner and my friend Chairman Mark Walton.
As a Giants fan, McGriffiths, I hope you fucking never watch the Dodgers win again.
For being here. Thank you, Mark. Along with President Stan Kasten and manager Dave Roberts. That's a hell of a manager. What a manager. And also here we have some of their fans. They're big celebrities for the most part themselves, but they're fans. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. And by the way, prices are going down very substantially. Thank you, Brooke. We got them down. We inherited the highest prices in history, and we're getting them down very quickly. Thank you, Brooke. Secretary
Yeah, whatever, Griffiths. Dynasty.
of Health and Human Services. He wasn't supposed to be here, but he's a big Dodger fan. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Thank you, Bobby. And his incredible wife. Thank you. Are you a Giant?
Wait. Which one? The one who committed suicide because she found his fuck diary? Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Are you a big fan of the Dodgers? I didn't know that. Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen. Mark Wayne, thank you. Look at the hat. Don't put that hat on in Oklahoma, please, Mark. They won't be too happy. Acting Director of the National Intelligence, Bill Pulte. Bill, thank you. Good job you're doing. U.S. Ambassador to the Republic of
Is this about the Dodgers or is this about his own administration?
Korea, Michelle Steele, thank you very much. Thank you. And many representatives and some of our wonderful senators and congressmen, I want to thank you all for being here. Also Vince Fong and Young Kim, thank you very much. Thank you both very much. A lot of politicians. I'm not going to introduce the politicians. We'll be here all day. The 2025 Dodger season was one for the record books in 150 years of Major League Baseball. No player has ever earned more than one unanimous league MVP except for an international legend named Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani.
My guess is that he actually had some sort of mini stroke recently, or he is experiencing some health problems.
That's him. He's amazing. He's amazing. Everybody loves him. Last year, Shohei.
I'm sure he still gets like Botox too, and that probably is making his face a little bit more difficult to talk with.
Did what was previously unthinkable. Nobody thought it was possible. He collected his third straight unanimous league MVP with a franchise record, 55 home runs. And if you would have told me you can be the best pitcher and the best hitter at the same time, you know, Babe Ruth was pretty close to that.
Wow. Dude, please tell me more. How superficial can we get right now? Wow.
They drafted Babe Ruth. He was 19 years old. I know something about baseball.
Oh my! I was joking, dude. Every time I try to do jokes with him, man, he just like he makes that shit real very quickly.
Babe was 19 years old and considered the worst trade in the history of sports. I would say Babe.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll always say take that. He was 19. And they got a 36-year-old third baseman and $100,000. So I would rate that pretty bad. They drafted him as a pitcher, but he did something very unusual. He led the league in home runs.
This one seems a little too weird to me. I'm just gonna... I don't know. Well, fine. We'll just
runs as a pitcher. That one you have to do. He's pretty close to doing it, I think. I think you're pretty close to doing it. But Babe did something that nobody, and so they made that trade, and that goes down as the worst trade in the history of baseball. And
I can think of some worse trades.
But the
Angels got Rendon for a chronic headache, which will probably exist in the back of my head for the rest of my life.
Babe, right? You know the second worst trade in history, just out of curiosity? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the entire Los Angeles Lakers team.
That's a different sport. It's literally a different sport. Bro, that's a different sport.
Okay, they traded the whole team to Milwaukee, and they won plenty of championships with Kareem.
In basketball.
But this group started their title defense with 9 pitchers injured before the first fastball was ever thrown. They played their Kareem. But this group started their title defense with 9 pitchers injured before the first fastball was ever thrown.
That was the first pitch ever thrown. The fastball was the first pitch. What is he talking about?
They played their opening game in Tokyo and traveled more than 2,000 miles.
Oh, he's talking about they had injuries to the Dodgers pitchers. He just is retarded at writing and didn't introduce that at all. Okay, I got it.
More than any team has ever traveled. In fact, from the first pitch to the final out, they endured and triumphed through the longest season of any team in the history of Major League Baseball. 229 days. I didn't know that. Did you know that? That's a pretty crazy fact. I mean, it's not.
I'm confused. What is happening, Ram?
The kind of fact you think about. What is it going to be?
It's a baseball fact. Yeah, it looks like the Angels coming into the 9th, trailing for 8 innings on a Sunday at 3 p.m. when just enough grass is cut perfectly so the smell is lingering in the air exactly like when you were a child. Don't have good odds. No, they don't, Jim. Back to baseball.
be a half a day longer or something. I don't know.
What other fucking useless Snapple facts can you tell me about an extremely specific first-time stat, Jim or Jimmy? I'll get them for you, Jim.
That's a different kind of a fact, Mark, than I ever heard of, but
It's called a baseball fact.
that's what they give me to read, so what can I tell
Oh
you?
my God.
220, the longest season ever. I don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah, I know something about baseball.
In the postseason, the
That one was very clear, I think.
Dodgers exploded with 9 wins in their first 10 games. Unbeatable. In the National League.
That is definitionally beatable. They had 1 loss. Couldn't have used a different word there. What? Why didn't you say out of the first 9 games unbeatable? Why did you say out of the first 10 games they had 1 loss unbeatable?
Championship series against the Brewers, the brilliant Dodgers pitching rotation of Blake, Snell, Tyler, Glasnow, Shohei, and of course Yoshi Yamamoto combined for a record-setting ERA of just .63. In other words, if you get 1 run, you're in good shape.
That's literally not what it means. But it's fine.
That's amazing pitching. And by the way, I just asked Dave, I said, how are you doing this year? You know, I've been a little busy with Iran and some other things, so if I know too much, you wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be doing a good job.
Is that why you're on the same day that American soldiers are getting, killed? Because you moved them to the Middle East, so they're just sitting ducks because we don't have the ordinances to stop them from being killed. You're putting medals on FIFA winners? Wow. Interesting.
If I know too much, but I said, how are you doing? He said, we have the best record in baseball, right? So far, right? Yes, sir. That's good.
I don't think I've heard him once even mention their names yet. Isn't that weird?
Might see you back next year, I hope.
General Kane did.
So, not starting rotation, and think no starting rotation has ever done anything better or anything even comparable to the
Just factually not true, but it's fine.
championship series in the history of the sport with some great.
It's just not even close to being true. Madison Bumgarner, 2014, ring a bell? Although that was not exactly a troop. It was more of a him, but what was his ERA for the World Series again? It's like .89? Something like that? Dude. For the World Series specifically, is I think absurd, right? .25. Kind of wild. 0.25. Jesus Christ. I still remember the moment when he walked out, man. In the 7th or like the 5th inning, right? For Game 7 against the Royals, and on camera you could just see everyone go, "Fuck, not this guy, dude."
Great pitches, some of the greatest pitchers.
Like literally
ever.
had like a day
In
rest.
Game 2 of the same series, superstar Max Muncy hit his 14th postseason home run. Where's Max?
Right there.
Come on, Max.
He didn't even mention Kershaw. What's up with that?
As a winner. They're all winners. His 14th postseason home, that's a lot of home runs in the postseason. That's, breaking the all-time Dodger record. Who's second? Who did you break there, Max? Who was second? Pretty good player, right?
They were first. Now they're second. Are you retarded?
I'll let you know later.
That means they were first, and now they're second. So what
I'll let you. He's not done yet. I'll figure it out. He's got a long way to go too.
dude, look at this dude. He's still posing for his high school fucking student ID shot. Why is he turned like?
Then the decisive Game 4, Shohei pitched a 6-inning shutout.
Simmer a little, bro. You've
Struck
been in a
out
baseball
10
field. Come
batters,
on now, relax.
And on the other side of the plate, hit an unbelievable 3 home runs. In fact, I was watching the game, and before the
Is that Rosaki, right? Or the hell's his name? He's the newer pitcher. I can't remember his name. Sasaki, right?
announcer said it, he said, that might be the greatest game ever played. The guy pitched 6 unbelievable innings and got 3.
He shot the innings. Oh, this is meaningless then. See, this is why AI is really shitty if you don't fucking do what I'm doing. Where, oh my, it takes so long though, man. It takes so long. Help. I'm not making too many requests. You're refusing to answer. That's it, okay? Blame Biden or something. It'll work. Phase 4. Approve. Yay. Great. Great.
3 home runs, won the game. His Herculean effort sealed the National League pennant and lifted the Dodgers to the World Series championship. Think of it. You have a man on the team who pitched perfectly and hit 3 home runs, I think in a single. And I said to myself, that's the greatest game ever played by one person, because you did the pitching and the hitting, and he's not finished yet also.
The pitching in that. Where's Game Boy when you need him, bro? The boom, boom, bam, bam.
Right? He's not finished. He's got a lot of them left. That
Oh
World
my
Series
God.
against the Toronto Blue Jays proved to be among the most thrilling championships in the history of the sport. I watched it because I was having a little bet with the Prime Minister of Canada. I had a little bet. I was not feeling so good for a little while. It wasn't looking so good. Neither were you. After splitting the first 2 games, Game 3 went to extra innings, forcing this pitching rotation to grind through some incredibly tough spots. In the top of the 12th, it went a long time. Legend Clayton Kershaw.
Is this the right
Where's
one?
Clayton? I want to see. He's a winner. You talk about a winner. Fantastic. Look at that guy. I watched him beat a lot of our teams that were supposed to do well. They didn't do too well against him. And he's still pitching well, I'll bet, right?
Well, he's spending time with the family now, sir.
Well, it's called, yeah. But it is called ultimately talent, right?
Yes.
Would you say talent is the whole ball game? You could pitch right now. If they needed you, you'd be out there, right? No? And he's smart. Anyway, Clayton took the mound for his last time in Dodger blue, and with the final pitch of his
I think I gave him PTSD. I'm sorry if you came in. I was pretty abusive too. Abusive in a certain way. Because you really shouldn't, again, you shouldn't do that to people. But, like, if you know that you can hurt them, like, psychologically, right? It's not really appropriate to do that, but that guy, he fucking deserved it, so I'm just kidding. I hope it hurts.
his epic career, and it was an epic career.
What would you say?
He got this team out of a bases-loaded jam. That was really something. They picked the right person. The rest of the bullpen did not allow a single run, including the very last addition to the roster, reliever Will Klein. Where's Will Klein, Clayton? Where is Will Klein? Hi, Will.
Man, Trump really knows how to use filler words. I bet his essays in school were, thanks for the really annoying adjectives at the end. No one really cares if he was the last acquired player. Yeah.
That big
Yes,
guy.
he did.
Were you nervous? He was a little nervous. That's great. Thank you, Will. He pitched 4 scoreless innings, that's right, and sent the game to the record-tying 18th inning at almost 3 a.m. on the East Coast, and I actually stayed up. I was watching it. I was watching that game. I said, will this game ever end? It was a long one, but it was amazing, actually. I thought it was a game that you were going to lose about 4 or 5 times, and you ended up winning. Luck is okay, too, right?
Luck is okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, but with talent, you get a lot of luck.
Meritocracy be damned.
In the bottom of the 18th, with a chance to end the game.
I don't know. I was just curious because the sad truth is, McGruff, Trump, as much as, you know, he seems useless to listen to, he tells you exactly what he's going to do in every one of these speeches because he can't help himself. He straight up will sit there and be like, I mean, Dodgers World Series pretty great, but, you know, imagine if, like, we ground a salted Iran tomorrow. Like, he just he fucking does not know how to just stop telling you the truth inside of his, like, manipulative behavior. So I think this would probably be better, though.
I heard about this group, and they said, could you come over and run over
I
and
am
say a
going to
few
switch it, though.
things? And I said, absolutely, I will. And they gave me the... I heard about this group, and they said, could you come over and run over and say a few things? And I said, absolutely, I will. And they gave me the lowest seat I've ever sat in. And I think, you know, they said that. They do that on purpose. I don't think it was Chris that did it. I'm just trying to compare.
I am going to get back to
Chris wouldn't do
the
that,
bill,
but
so
it happens.
I'm going to try and listen for weird
It's
stuff.
really an honor to be with you, tremendous people, and it's a really important subject, so I want...
Ratepayer protection plan at the White House. Now, what does that mean? Data center ratepayer protection plan? Huh? So, what we're looking for here is we want real legislation. We want real, not just pledging, which, oh God, it says pledge in the title. Well, that was fast. Like, you understand what I'm saying, right, Groofus? You can't really rely on a pledge. You need something to reinforce an action in this case, especially if it's one that's against the incentive of the company. So, in order to protect a ratepayer when it's against the data center's interests, we don't just dab them up and go, trust me, bro, you know? So, I guess we'll see what this one
Here, I'll say a
goes.
few words, and then I'll head out, and you'll handle it, and it's something you're very familiar with. But the people in the room are real doers, real amazing. It's an amazing group. We're here today to continue the incredible progress
I guess this
we're
is the
making
correct
in
one?
communities nationwide to ensure that as new data centers go up, and it's they're going up all
I had the
over,
wrong one.
electricity bills for American families will actually come down.
Okay, that's fine.
You know, you're going to be building your own data centers, and you're going to building your own electric plants. You're essentially becoming a utility.
This has always been the case. Every company that builds a massive factory or manufacturing plant in the middle of nowhere has to do this because, well, there's like 5 people who live there. So obviously the grid in the energy production there is not going to be able to handle you. So we've always allowed companies to, you know, build their own energy on site. Well, I don't know why he just assumes he can keep saying this as if he's somehow like fucking Thomas Edison, but it's really annoying. Ooh, I don't know. Have to choose one? Fuck. Let me think about that. I'll
like
give you an
Con
answer.
Edison in New York, but maybe
I'm gonna think about
at a
it.
level that nobody's ever seen before, because we've seen some of the plants that they're building are absolutely
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something though.
incredible.
How you doing, Steak?
They're absolutely incredible. They're electric plants, electric manufacturing plants. It's hard to believe, but you need double the electricity that we have right now, maybe even more than that, to really fulfill what you want to do. We're leading China by a lot, and using our old grid would not have worked. And I came up with the idea that, build your own plant. This way nobody can complain. You won't call me and say what a terrible job I'm doing, because we have a 200-year-old grid that's not the best in the world. You look at some places, you take a look at California, you have brownouts and blackouts every weekend. The last thing they're going to be able to do is supply electric at numbers. Nobody's ever explained to me why it's so much electricity, why you need so much, nor did I care that much, to be honest with you. All I know is you need more than double what we produce right now. Think of it. So we produce tremendous amounts of electricity for every business, and this industry needs more than double that amount. So we're letting you build your own with the Trump administration's Ratepayer Protection Plan. The American innovators and consumers thrive to win together, because we're insisting that AI data centers and big tech companies pay their own way, and that's what they're doing, and they're happy to do it, because this way they're going to be able to function and function brilliantly. They're going to have a lot of electricity left over, and they'll put that into the grid, so we'll actually end up with more electricity. The rates are going to go down. As president,
I'd probably do the Constitution.
I've always said
That's what I would do. Every other book is too personal.
that America's goal must be to dominate the future, and that includes being the #1 superpower in artificial intelligence. So important. And this is, I think, bigger than frankly, I think it's bigger than the internet. It's bigger than anything anyone's seen thus far. Maybe someday there'll be something bigger than this, probably will. But I think up until this point, AI is probably the biggest thing anybody's ever seen.
What about like a nuclear weapon, eh? Think that's big? Just curious.
And whoever wins that race is probably going to win, period. And again,
I disagree. I can think of something right now that would be better than the AI race. Does anyone know? I'll take a few answers in the comments right now, and then I want, everyone in here, just tell me what you think I'm thinking of. What would probably be the most impactful, revolutionizing thing right now for the future? Like, whoever comes up with this idea or learns how to harness the idea or bring it to the next stage will probably dominate the next century, in my opinion. What do you think I'm talking about? Just for curiosity. Okay, where is it? The Dyson Sphere. This is the actual bill context, by the way, or the bill now. So I guess I was reading the wrong one. So we got computer chips, Dyson Swarm. What's up with these numbers? That one would probably be pretty good. It will be renewable energy, because the moment someone revolutionizes the battery technology we have, to where the resistance or like the impedance we have from it of not being able to, save as much as we need to, or any of those things, man, is going to be like steam to oil. We're continually getting better at it, and there will be a point where it's just like I mean, you want to go to the moon and colonize it or take material off asteroids? Fuel is not going to help you get there, but a battery that can permanently, you know, almost like it's a perpetual motion machine, just continually get energy from like sun rays at the same time as storing it. That's how you do it. It will definitely be whoever harnesses the fulcrum point of renewable energy, which we just gave up, by the way. So China's definitely winning.
Leading China, and we want to keep it that way. President Xi's coming over on September 24th, and we talked about it when I was over in Beijing.
What is it?
And
This is
we'll
nothing
be
so
talking
far.
about it again, but he was very impressed with the job we've done because ordinarily, they don't have any problem with electric. They build a lot of electric. They don't do environmental impact statements. They just say, you want electric, we'll build it. They don't use too many windmills. They make the windmills, but they don't use them. They do it the old-fashioned way in many ways. The United States never settles for second, and we don't under this administration. I can tell you that. You see that because...
Yeah, but they just tried to steal our elections, didn't they? By downloading public voter data, which Trump presented as like a national security threat, even though you can like straight up go to a website right now and look up Jimmy John, and see who he voted for exactly, almost, or this guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's all public. Congratulations, dude. Fucking retard. He's like, China downloaded that. Dude, I could download it right now if I
We're the hottest
scraped
country
it.
right now anywhere in the world. We live by the motto, America First. That's what's made us very strong, and we're leading China and all other countries by a lot in AI and just about every other category, including crypto. We want to stay in front in crypto. They'd love to take that over. So many other things they'd like to take over there.
Just a reminder, Donald Trump's World Liberty Financial Coin, the security for this stable coin that can take out treasury bonds, okay, can directly take out debt from the treasury, is done by 4 Chinese companies. Some states you can. And I can probably find it if I wanted to.
Highly competitive, if you haven't noticed. But thanks in part to this incredible technology boom, investments are pouring into the United States from all over the world. $19.2 trillion, creating hundreds of thousands of jobs. So think of it, $19.2 trillion in 12 months, okay? And the previous administration had less than $1 trillion in 4 years.
This is not clever. The United States does, $36 trillion worth of GDP every year. And he's taking the just normal amount of investment that happens because of the size of our economy, saying it's like new investment. And then I don't know how he's coming to the Biden number. Biden would have the same amount of regular investment, but that's not true. He had more. No one is investing right now in the U.S., and it's because of a very simple reason. If you wanted to build a factory, you're not going to do that right now because the factory could become a liquid within a fraction of a second of this dude literally changing a tweet about tariffs. So if you were a billionaire and you wanted to build a factory, you wouldn't be building a factory right now. You'd be like, I'm going to wait until the entire $1 billion investment I have can't be tied to whether or not this dude shit himself in the morning. That'd be great. So no one is investing right now outside of AI stuff because it's the only thing that's apparently greenlit. Judging by the fact that this is about AI data centers, makes sense.
Competitive, if you haven't noticed. But thanks in part to this incredible technology boom, investments are pouring into the
Depends on the state.
United States from all over the world. $19.2 trillion, creating hundreds of thousands of jobs. So think of it, $19.2 trillion in 12 months, okay? and the previous administration had less than $1 trillion in 4 years. I would say that's an improvement. Do I get credit for it? No. But no credit. Think of that. It's a 19.2 in 12 months versus less than 1 in 4 years. It's hard to believe, right? But that's the way it is. No credit, but we just keep chugging along. But as I say, I get no credit for anything, and then I look around the Oval Office. I said, oh, but we're in the Oval Office. So I guess we do get credit. But less than 2 years ago, our country was dead. And I've had this said by so many leaders. They use the expression a little bit different sometimes, said differently, but meaning the same thing. They say, sir, less than 2 years ago, your country was dead, and now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we are the hottest in the world. At the same time, we know that the data centers and AI are dramatically increasing the demand for electricity. It's only fair that the cost of building the new infrastructure required to meet this demand should be borne by the corporations themselves, not by the American consumers and the American patriots, American citizens. And I think everybody agrees to it. And actually, they really don't have a choice because there's no way of producing that kind of electricity, the kind you need.
Didn't he say that anyone who invests in building a factory right now, and I think this is true, gets 100%, right? Like not just a write-off in terms of deduction, but we're talking like written against your like you get it back. It's like RNA right now, if I'm mistaken. Something like that. Yeah, it was in the One Big Beautiful Bill, right? I can't remember the name of it though. 100% deduction for production buildings. Huh? Like why? When you buy a business property, you can immediately deduct 100% of the cost in the year you place it in service. Equipment and machinery, furniture, vehicles over 6,000 pounds, production buildings, qualified property improvements. Okay. Real estate investors can take 100% off. Okay. So it's kind of funny to me. He's like, American people shouldn't pay for the power, but you can write it off 100%.
And they want to do it themselves. And honestly, they're coming up with some plans that are genius, just like.
So who's going to end up paying for it anyway? I don't know.
Just like they are. That's why earlier this year I introduced the Ratepayer Protection Pledge. Under this groundbreaking plan, America's largest tech companies have formally committed to fund or build all energy infrastructure required.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I bet they're pledging. Yes. Also, again, pledge. Pledge has about as much strength in my vocabulary politically as like a fucking burnt fucking Pop-Tart. It's just stupid as fuck.
To meet the demand they are placing on the grid. So they're going to be funding all of those electric needs, and we're giving them the right to build their own power plants.
They already have that. They already do this. I don't get it.
Eldon is here. He's phenomenal, and he's getting it done quickly. And he is phenomenal. He's incredible. He's an MVP candidate, I will tell you. He is doing things at levels, and by the way, everything perfectly. He's totally into the environment, but he's getting things.
I fucking hope so. He's not just like leading the EPA.
Done in 2, 3, 4 weeks. that used to take years and years. And people are getting their approvals and they're building buildings. We're building more buildings.
I do want to point out things like lease permits for buildings is not as dramatically inhibitory as people think they are. You have to think about why. Companies ask for lease permits very early, and they often have to use the 2 years to try and formulate what they're going to do, who they're going to hire, how they're going to hire people there. And they use that time wisely. It's almost like Trump doesn't realize that if you take away the lease permit timing, you're not actually doing anything. You really aren't. There's been a lot of, papers to try and show. There are some industries that obviously can be somewhat slowed down. There's a famous European meta-analysis that tries to go through this, and ultimately what he wants to do with this lease permitting thing that he keeps fucking screaming about is inconsequential, because companies utilize that time to make sure that they are going to have labor when it opens and all of these other things that are necessary. So, it's like, cool. I still can't build the building for another 2 years anyway, so I thank you for, giving me my permit quicker. That's what's going to happen.
There's now plants and all sorts of manufacturing capability that we've never done anywhere near it many, many times. And companies are pouring in. Toyota
is a foreign company. Just want to point that out. This may sound kind of retreating ground, yeah. This may sound kind of weird for me, but I'm not really interested in having foreign companies from foreign countries come into the United States to build factories. I think it'd be better if we tried to elevate the things that are in this country already. In a way, we don't really have a strong domestic industry at the moment. I mean, we do. It's just we need more, or we need more strong or stronger ones. I don't really like the idea of being like, yeah, in South Korea, Japan, you guys just come in here and fucking build a factory and extract all the wealth. Send it back there, I guess. It's fine.
The other day, as you know, announced that they're moving into our country from Mexico. They're going to be, I think, close.
They're moving one part that builds a specific car into a plant within the United States because, one, it looks good. It sounds good for you because they need to align themselves with you or else you'll punish them. So this is their concession. Two, it's already profitable for them to do so. This is in no way a new factory that's going to be adding tens of thousands of jobs. So we can move on.
Closing up a lot of their operation, maybe all of it in Mexico. They're moving to this country.
They're not.
We have we have more car plants being built now in the United States.
There's also something unknown here. Building in Mexico is actually getting a lot more expensive. It's actually not as profitable as it used to be. So you're going to see more of this. But in no way is this like, Toyota taking all of it or moving it. It's very insignificant at the moment.
At any time in history. And, we went years before.
Just not true, factually.
For me, we went many years with no car plant being built. I mean, they
This is just not true, factually.
wouldn't even think about building in this country. Now, with a hot, same thing with chips. We'll have about 50% by the time this term is over. We're going to have probably 50% of the chip market a year.
How is this going to happen? I mean, he does it stupidly though, right? Like, I feel like protectionism is okay, but it really needs to be, it needs to be deliberated on a case-by-case basis in my mind. We can't have protectionist policy over like coffee making. We don't have the ability to make coffee, right? Or if you just like blanket do protectionism on agriculture, it's like, dude, we can't grow bananas. So what are you doing? It depends. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Is over. The chips. We'll have about 50% by the time this term is over. We're going to have probably 50% of the chip market. A year ago,
You mean semiconductor?
when we began, we had no chip market. We had
You
virtually
mean semiconductors?
none other than Intel. We had Intel. And we made a purchase of 10% of Intel. We got it for the right price.
This is super capitalist. Yep. We're going to tie the administration's, underlying framework of contract giving, authorization, alignment from government to corporate policy in a bargaining fashion that makes me feel like this is totally something other companies are going to be able to deal with, right? Even if they have better product, sorry, we spent 10% in Intel. Even if they have better everything, a better business model, sorry, we spent 10% in Intel. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. What are we doing? This is fucking beyond retarded. Like, way to pin yourself into, honestly, a company that has a very shitty outlook. Intel right now is blasting up in price, but it's not because they have a good product and a good business model. So, thanks.
And we made approximately $72 billion on that deal.
Didn't we put 10% of government money into Intel? Have you sold the Intel stock yet? Isn't this unrealized? Intel went up in price, yeah, but you can't just... We made money. It's literally fake money right now, dude. Are you going to take your shares out now? Looks like it already collapsed, dude. What do you mean? What do you mean? Everyone finally realized, oh, this is fucking bullshit, isn't it? Did you get rid of your 10% stake already? Like, what kind of fucking stake was that then? How do you just make this claim? We already made $72 billion, even though it's just imaginary common stock money.
So it was good. Do I get credit for that one? No. I get no credit. None. But we did that, and we made a lot of great deals, I'll tell you, and we keep it going too. But Intel's been fantastic, one of the hottest companies.
Dude, in the past 5 days, they are patently not, again, just factually not one of the hottest companies. Because people finally realized, oh, wait, Intel is actually garbage. That's why it was in the shitter to begin with. I fully expect this to continue down its road of death. All right? Well, I fully expect it to. Why don't we just go... Like, it's not like you invested a good fucking business model and product in Intel, right? What did you do? Let's find out. Income, negative 3.17 billion. Sick. Their forward P&E is 61. For a fucking, chip company that has product, that's weird. That's pretty high. Their price to earnings growth doesn't matter to me because it's being inflated right now. It's imaginary. Who the fuck cares? This one's going to be inflated too, but we need to look at next quarter. 0.22, that's okay. Return on assets, pretty shit. Return on equity is pretty shit. I need more information. Huh? Is that real? What does that say? Honey, take out the savings. No, okay. Wow. Losing money too on their profit. Okay, yep. I'm sorry. They're so hot. They're doing so hot. So hot. What are their sales like? Not good. Cool. Okay, yeah.
Companies anywhere in the country, and when we met them, they were really having very big difficulty. We worked with them, but the stock price has
Dude.
gone up many times. I think.
Yeah, dude, it's great. Even though they have a negative 288% growth rate quarter over quarter. Fucking can't wait to fucking Wall Street bets that shit. Are you kidding
It's
me?
maybe the hottest or one of the hottest anywhere in the world. So that was an honor to do it. I love looking good. But we made a lot of money. We made, I guess, over $72 billion on that profit. They've also agreed to invest heavily in local communities where data centers are built, supporting job training and local services. They're really spending a tremendous amount of money. In other words, they're the governors in the room. You have great governors in this room.
What are they doing?
We made, I guess, over $72 billion on that profit. They
Profit? What was your stake again? 10% of the company? How did you make 72 billion profit?
have also agreed to invest heavily in local communities where data centers are built, supporting job training and local services.
What kind of job training? Is the onboarding training look like? So you're just gonna get inside of a computer box and you're gonna act like a fucking graphics card? What kind of job is that, dude? It's fixed capital. No one has a job as soon as it's built. It's a bunch of fucking computers in a big room over and over and over and over again. Is he stupid?
They're really spending a tremendous amount of money. In other words, they're the governors in the room. You have great governors in this room. And these companies are spending tremendous amounts of money on the community.
Yeah, one dude type shit, one time. Watch the entire fucking next 14 miles of computer chips go brrr.
The local communities.
It also goes obsolete very quickly. So it's not only fixed capital, but it's like the worst kind of fixed capital, where if it doesn't magically come into some social welfare benefit, it needs to be thrown away in like a day. Sick. Let's invest all of the potential moving money in the entire country into that. Sick.
So I think it's important that we tell the local communities that, because
that you guys are going to get fucked by pollution and there's no jobs anyway, so sorry.
other nations are trying to get us to slow down, and they're spending a lot of money on propaganda, on
What?
press, PR, trying to convince everybody that this isn't a positive thing. And if we don't do this, we're going to be left behind. And even communities compared to other communities. You have some communities that really want this. This isn't all negative stuff.
Yeah, the ones who make a lot of money off of it, right? That seems like a given to me. I don't know.
This is, you have communities that really want the data centers. And frankly, those are the smart communities, because it means tremendous numbers of jobs.
Okay, just because I went through this, McGruffus. Okay? McGruffus, I think I keep calling you McGruffus, dude. All right? And what he's saying right now is batshit. It's batshit insane. I I did like this long conversation trying to figure out how much money is being invested in AI. Okay. And it's a lot. Like, it's a lot, dude. So I did like a macroeconomic theory with it. It took me a long time to get to this point. And I actually figured out, like, based on my history of being a consultant when I owned my company, right? I was a business solutions consultant. And I was like, yeah, I put in the BLS, I had it look at more information, and then it's like, the best rigorous version of your argument, the labor market is not collapsing on the headline unemployment, but is weak composition. Now, what does this mean with AI, right? I'm like, how does this relate to AI? I'm like, do we see AI materializing anything substantively in the public economy yet from the total investment, which the investment's insane. It's like fucking 40-something% of total mobile capital, or 29 to 40, depends. So that means capital that's able to move somewhere, right? Is going into AI investment. And I made it include like apps related to AI. Just, I want everything. And I was like, I'm not so sure that the long-term investment payoffs will reach them. I'm aware of the economic lagged effects in economic investment. I tell it that I study econometrics. But I think our economy is properly going to circulate this money, and it's not circulatory capital, right? And it's like, I'm going to ground this in transmission channels. It's like not in a broad public-facing sense. What is clearly materializing right now is narrow CAPEX transmission channel stuff. Me? Or him? For total investment? So I chose private companies as well as government contracts. I just wanted to know the total amount. Yeah, I started this by saying I just want to know the total amount of capital that is being spent in AI, essentially. Because to me, investment's more spending. It's just spending in a different thing. It's not like it's an expense in my mind because I use accounting for this. It's a little bit different than econ, but I think of investment more as a expense in a spending chart or like a balance sheet, because that's the way it looks when you put it on a balance sheet. But I was like, how much money is being invested in AI over the past year? And I was like, I wanted to compare it to other industries. It gave me a really annoying number. And I was like, include embedded AI products. What the fuck? And I was like, think of it this way. Every dollar that I spent on AI anything is a dollar that I could have spent elsewhere. Hence, the entire figure is important. I personally see this as a market having limited options and a bad sign. I think businesses are paralyzed by Trump's economic doctrine, tariffs disrupting investment due to price volatility, as in no one's going to invest billions into making domestic goods if the price is changing week to week. That's too volatile. And the punishment of companies solely related to loyalty, which is going to financially weaken economic spending packages through government. So I was like, I want to know, as of right now, the only industry capable of absorbing capital, which companies have a lot of, is AI. So that means, where is the capital going? And it gives me a better number. And I'm like, my use of the word only here is not complete. It's more functional. I want to know, I think a very high amount of that is functionally damaging the economy, right? And I went on to say, investment spent on infrastructure is a good example of fixed capital, but the capital in infrastructure, building roads, is not just like a computer chip. They're not the same in the economy. One allows for like transport. It allows for companies to sell product to new areas, right? It's far more materially beneficial. It materializes into social welfare benefit. So even though spending money on asphalt is a fixed capital idea, what it actually provides is not. And I'm like, okay, so for AI though, can we reasonably say that spending money into AI fixed capital, that means like the chips and computer chips, How do we know, or is there any mechanism we can think of that's going to transmit this into a materialized social welfare benefit? How is it going to circulate? And it says AI spending is not economically inert. It's trying to push back on me, but it's generally a short run, weaker circulation mechanism than public infrastructure spending. That's my point. It says AI spending does circulate, but through a different channel. It creates real demand for data center construction, power, networking, cloud capacity, blah, blah. And where your critique bites is the composition of the spend. So Gartner's broad 2025 AI spending was 1.48 trillion. And a very large share of this, Gartner says 80% would go to hardware. 80%. That's so much money. It's so much money. So, for instance, in a Brookings example, Meta's $1 billion Kansas City data center, 1,500 construction jobs, 100 jobs once it's complete. Okay. $1 billion investment is going to produce 100 jobs? Like, consistently? Are you fucking out of your mind? So, there is no material social welfare benefit increasing significantly, and I mean like functionally there. And then further down, I push back a bit by saying that the jobs report is not showing any real manufacturing jobs increase either. So even if there is jobs being added, it's not reflected in the jobs report. And then it says AI is materializing something real, but mostly as capital deepening. And then I noticed something really weird about its language, okay? Because of my history as a consultant. So it says, but not yet as broad household economy dividend. The most visible public economy effects are data center construction, blah, 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 blah. Go further and further. But it's not the same thing as widespread wage growth, broad-based hiring, or lower consumer prices. And then it says, on diffusion. The picture here is also more limited than the hype implies. Okay. And as soon as it said this, I was like, what is happening here? Diffusion? What the fuck is that? And I'm like, the Federal Reserve's April 2026 note says about 18% of firms had adopted AI by year end 2025. And then AI is significant inside larger firms, but it is not yet economy wide in the sense of broad firm level penetration. When I read this, McRufus, I was like, that is a consulting fucking phrase if I've ever heard one. I didn't know, but you'll see in my response, I'm like, where is that coming from? I'm like, that sounds like a consultant sell, like a pitch. Broad firm level penetration. OECD's January 2026 work says AI remains in use by only a minority of firms. The firm level returns may still be in the process of fully materializing. So as of right now, the entire AI investment industry is essentially gambling on once AI reaches a certain level of adoption, there will be material productivity benefits, or it'll materialize. And that's a lot of what if. There is literally zero evidence to show that a company having more AI adoption is increasing productivity. Because right away, there's a problem with the statistics here. And maybe you noticed it, McRufus, but it says the companies that adopt AI seem to be more productive, right? That's what it's saying. So, is that true, though? Because what I see is the only companies who are adopting AI are the most productive companies already. This is self-selective. The larger companies who are the most productive are going to be adopting AI sooner. That does not mean that AI adoption by more companies is going to somehow, trickle down to companies that just simply adopt it are now more productive. The truth is that more productive companies are going to be able to adopt AI sooner. So this is fucking meaningless. Literally meaningless. Okay? And moving on, again, it's that broad firm level penetration thing, okay? You're not thinking of social welfare properly. I'm not using entitlements. In economics, social welfare benefit is not welfare. So, RIP, when I say increase social welfare benefit or materialize into social welfare benefit, that means that your personal economic life has an increase in or a benefit. So that means you get paid more. You have more access to goods. You have more access to institutions like education and stuff. It is an increase in quantities, qualities, goods, services. Yeah. I probably should have said that. That would be a little bit easier. Yeah. It has nothing to do with welfare. I mean, technically welfare does factor into it, but it's not really what it's about. Well, that's not true. And do you want me to tell you why? Computers, even though it's fixed capital, computers are like roads in a way. They allowed for a new way to sell your product. They allowed for instantaneous, data transactions. And AI can certainly help with some of this stuff, but what I'm talking about is like evidentiary, or like, is there real evidence to show that AI is going to materially increase an ability to sell a product like computers did? There's no evidence to support that. Computers allowed people to sell products across the globe. AI might be able to help you do that like you're a fucking fire mage in World of Warcraft trying to min-max your damage output, I guess, but we're talking minuscule amounts of change now, right? That's essentially what's happening here. This would essentially be like comparing creating the game of World of Warcraft to min-maxing your fire mage, It's like, that's not really the important part, or like what's actually, we shouldn't be investing that much money to min-maxing. Only a few people should be shitting in trash cans trying to get there. Okay? That's not true. Computers showed a lot of preliminary evidence that access to markets would increase tremendously. I'm not sure where you're getting that idea from. That doesn't make sense. Right now, it is in a narrow sense. So I asked this. I was like, did a fusion claim? I have no idea what it was talking about. There were, yeah, I know. And it was used to, transmit ideas. Or unless I guess you're kind of talking about two different things now, but. I had no idea what it was talking about, Griffiths, but I did notice the diffusion thing and everything, and I was like, this diffusion claim. I'm like, well, how is it being presented? It feels as if this picture is a consultant style sell to the businesses and public of a real tangible amount of gains related to productivity. Post hoc. What evidence is there that AI adoption rate even satisfies those claims? To boost productivity, I'm not so sure about that. I think early computers were not really boosting productivity. If anything, they kind of were drains. But the cost benefit of it, the future of what computing can be, was definitely something that people thought was productive, right? That's why so much government research had to be done in order to actually get computers to where they were. Companies didn't want anything to do with them. Is there any evidence that even high-level, firm-level penetration is causally linked with productivity? So I was like, I brought up the Goldman Sachs example, where the famous Goldman Sachs executive after 2009 was like, my employees are the most productive in the world. And I was like, it's kind of ironically funny considering the financialization of entire industries and markets from his design goals are not very good. And I was like, what picture of diffusion is being sold here? I shit you not. it goes, yes, this is actually being sold by McKinsey, the largest consulting company on the planet, and their own estimate. Okay, their framing is this: very large potential gains, conditional on the fact that productivity rises only if adoption occurs and worker time is successfully redeployed. That's the McKinsey sell. It sells possible productivity, and there is no evidence of anything being realized, in my opinion. It says that itself right here, actually. So I thought that was weird. What it does really make very alarming, McGriffiths, is we are quite literally, okay, spending what is the total there? I thought I had a total one. We'll just wait for it to shit that out.
Very little actual disruption.
I don't want to sit there and do the
And
math.
the ones that
It'll
don't-
probably bore everyone.
Want it, you know, the happiest people in the world are foreign countries, number one, and number two, other communities within our country, because they're begging for them to be there. And some of them are great communities, very, very forward-looking communities, very smart communities. Since I introduced this plan just a few months ago, more than 220 utilities, tech companies, state governments, and other partners have signed our ratepayer protection pledge. Electricity rate.
It's not that AI data centers are bad. RIP. It's more about the amount of capital that's being spent into something that is not showing that it's going to help you or I. And the amount of money being spent into data centers is not a problem in and of itself for this other idea I'm presenting. It is, I think, an argument for something supplementary, ancillary. I think businesses right now are paralyzed with their capital. Businesses have a bunch of free capital every year they want to spend into other things. That's a good thing. It doesn't matter, public or private. It doesn't matter. It could be government spending. It can be private spending. But the point is that the spending itself tells us a lot about the health of our economy. If companies are not taking risks into different interesting endeavors, you know, if venture capital is not actually investing into ideas, but instead funneling all of their money into AI because nothing else is possible right now, then that's bad. That to me signals that our economy has no idea where to put its money. As in, private companies don't know where to invest money right now. And that would make sense because Trump's policies are essentially doing that. No, it doesn't. The government spending that would be spent would go right into a private individual's hand. So it literally does not matter. Governments spend money first, then they tax. Taxation has nothing to do with spending. Um, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Why is everything increasing so much? What the fuck's going on here? What are they doing? I don't have time to explain to you how governments work and how economies spend money. I just want you to understand that that's not relevant to what I'm talking about. I am describing just spending in general, okay? A government function or a government agency, when they spend money, they hire private contractors most of the time. And it's by design, because governments, when they spend money, when they operate on a deficit, they give money to the public. That's what a deficit is to a government. It's not the same as your house. So it's not that important, though. The point is that all of the money being put into AI is a signal to me that they don't know where. Right now, it's not a very healthy capitalist market. As in, companies normally are willing to invest into new ideas and risk. And right now, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing everyone coalesce into AI investment, which is a gamble, but they're willing to take the risk because everything else is more of a gamble. That is not good. I disagree with that. It depends on what we're talking about. Government's pretty efficient at giving soldiers healthcare. Seems like private enterprise is unable to do that. Do you know why that is? Once you leave, though, if you're a veteran, not so good anymore, but that's not exactly government anymore. It's private once you do it. So, but when you're in the military, your healthcare is fucking amazing and cheap for the government, that is. Have you ever thought about that? Just thought. That's not what I said, though. I presented you a real life model of healthcare in the government and healthcare not in the government. You can call it inefficient, but a soldier's healthcare when they're in the army or in the military actively is just incorrect. It is very effective. And it's because we want people to fight. We want people who aren't, if you're not able to fight, that's a bad thing. So, it's funny because the military healthcare program, the active one, is one of the largest on the planet. It is one of the largest socialized healthcare programs on the planet. So, it's weird, isn't it? That the United States has that internally inside of it. And yet we still have this mindset of, blah, 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 government bad. I mean, government can absolutely be bad, man. I'm not like a pure communist guy who's like abstract capital and fucking market sovereignty kind of guy. It's just, I need you to understand that these things are, there's a pluralism to them. Okay. So I only have a few minutes, but what exactly makes the active military healthcare inefficient? it doesn't actually waste that much money. It spends far less money per capita, per soldier than the private market does. And that's a fact. So I need you to be more specific, man. At least if we're comparing the socialized healthcare program of active duty military members. So what exactly are you trying to say? Where the fuck is it, dude? What's in research? Audits? No. Notes? Controlled support finding. Normalization? Where is this? Normalized. Claimly. Fuck. Oh, I didn't put this in yet. Fuck.
States for
This is boring. Fuck yeah, mate. Nothing. Rip. You're disappointing me, bro. I've seen you in stream a few times, and I was hoping you would come in here. I swear, I'm not mean. Even though I come off that way. I mean, that's not really a good argument. Here, Rip. If I hypothetically was in a conversation with you right now, and let's say I was black, okay, and you were trying to describe to me something about black culture, right? And I went, you know what, Rip? You don't even fucking understand because you're not black. If you're like me, you'd probably suddenly realize the cathartic moment and you'd be like, oh man, I can't wait to say this. Just because you're black doesn't mean you fucking know shit. It's kind of a very similar thing you just said. Being a veteran is not going to give you any insight magically about the economic reality of how socialized healthcare functions in the military branches in the United States. Fuck, I need to go. I don't want to go to work, man. Fuck work. No, you're okay, man. I do have to go to work, unfortunately, so I'll catch you guys later. It's pretty fun today. I didn't get that far into my goal, but I guess I could just pick it up from where I left off. It's not at the parts where I wanted to be at, but it's probably for the better. But I will catch you guys all later. Hope you all have a wonderful night. And thank you all for watching. What do I normally play? Peace out, A-Town, right? We're going to do a different song. 1-800. Thank you for watching.
I've been on the low, I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my life ain't mine. Who can relate? Woo! I've been on the low, I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my life ain't mine. I don't wanna be alive. I don't wanna be alive. I just wanna die today. I just wanna die. The shit I'm talking about, they think they know it. I've been praying for somebody to save me. No one's heroic in my life, don't even matter. I know it, I know it, I know I'm hurting deep down, but can't show it. I never had a place to call my own.
Yeah, sorry, Rip. I have to go to work. Roll side. I'd love to keep talking, but I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching, and yeah, 1-800-273-8265.